About a year ago now, I decided to try Old School RuneScape for the very first time in a group Ironman mode with my friends, coming from World of Warcraft, which, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I kind of consider myself one of the pioneers of this World of Warcraft to OSRS migration that seems to be happening right now. In fact, I made an entire Ironman video series documenting basically my entire early game experience. And at this point, I consider myself quite firmly in the mid-game now. I've got my Slayer helmet, I've got my zombie axe, I've got the Barrow's gloves, I've even got an Amulet of Fury now, which, well, to be fair, my friends made for me, but we are group Ironmen, so I think it's fair enough if I didn't quite acquire it by my own means. But of course, there is the one lustrous item that is almost considered a rite of passage to being a true PVMer at this point, and that, of course, is the Fire Cape, which by this point, all of my fellow group Ironmen had except for myself, and I knew that it was time to do the grind and get myself my Fire Cape. But of course, I had a lot of work to do because I was only 57 ranged, and I was still wearing green D-hide. And I assure you that that was not going to cut it. So there was a few items I definitely wanted to get first, and one of those was the Hunter's Sunlight Crossbow. And although I already had a rune crossbow, I just didn't really want to spend my Slayer points on the broad bolts, and I kind of needed an excuse to get my Hunter up anyways. So my Hunter grind began, which I started off with doing Hunter Rumors, which is kind of like Slayer tasks except for Hunter. And I'm going to be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of these. There was just some really shitty tasks, and setting up your block list is kind of annoying with Rumors, so I ended up just doing something else, which of course led me to doing Chinchompas. Let me tell you, farming chins is like a bot breeding ground. I mean, I came across bots on so many worlds just trying to find a spot to set up my chinning. It is actually insane how many bots are doing this. Not only that, but I knew that I would be getting a lot of ranged XP from using the chins after I farmed them, so it was kind of a win-win in my mind because I needed those ranged levels no matter what. So after grinding and grinding, I finally hit level 72 Hunter, which was high enough level to start doing Sunlight Antelopes. And I farmed a good like 3,000 arrows or so, just enough that would probably get me quite a few attempts on Jad. And then that was that. I had my Sunlight Crossbow, and now I just needed some ranged levels. So first thing I did, of course, was I went to the Ape Atoll little cave place with my 1,800 Chinchompas that I farmed, and I grinded the hell out of it. And I think I somehow expected to get like at least 10 ranged levels out of it, so when I only ended up getting about 5 levels out of it, I was actually a little bit disappointed. And so after that, I went straight to farming swamp crabs, because apparently those are better for farming ranged according to the wiki. And they weren't super AFK, like you kind of had to run around and, you know, get them to aggro you, which was kind of annoying, so I wasn't a big fan of doing this. But of course, about a few days into my grind on swamp crabs, the Varlamore update actually came out, which introduced the gemstone crab. And oh my god, let me tell you how much I love the gemstone crab. It is just so ridiculously AFK. You just click the crab and then you don't have to do anything for 10 minutes. I mean, it's similar to the crabs on Fossil Island, but this one is, you can't have anyone interrupt. Like, it is just completely a mass player event. Hell, I was even doing gemstone crab at the gym. And I would just, like, glance at my phone at the health bar every couple sets I would do, and then I would reset every time I needed to, and it was beautiful. I mean, my wife told me that it was kind of embarrassing to be doing that at the gym, but honestly, I just did not give a fuck. So I got range level 66, I could use my Sunlight Crossbow. I was ready for my first attempt on Jad.
There looks like a boot, like a heel. Above. No. That one. No, above. That one. Like it looks like a cowboy boot. Yeah, like sideways, kind of. Like if you turn your head to the right, it looks like a cowboy boot, like a heel. Yeah, that's Italy rock. Okay.
Gonna safe spawn? Nope. No, it's not. You know what? Fuck, I might just be able to... Oh, I know. I know what I'll do. There we go.
So my first attempt I did on call with my friends because I just kind of needed the moral support because, let me tell you, I was getting Jad hands before I even got to Jad. And honestly, it wasn't too bad. I mean, most of the waves, at least the first 30 waves, were pretty simple. I mean, the Ranger was pretty easy. You just threw on Protect from Ranged. The melees were super easy. Things got a little dicey when we got to the Rangers and the Majors. That's when things kind of started not going too well.
Okay, so I wonder if I can get far enough away that... Oh, he hurts. The Ranger hurts. Oh no, no, I just gotta take out the Ranger as fast as possible. God, you guys, I'm stressing so much right now. Jesus. Ooh, ow. That really hurt. Oh shit. 2 Rangers. Oh. Okay, we're set up solid. We are set up really good here, actually. If I go to the very edge, does he... Oh, yes. I'm so smart, you guys. I'm so smart.
I was also going through my prayer pots probably a lot quicker than I should have been, and I honestly probably wasn't going to have enough prayer potions for the actual Jad fight. But then I got to wave 54, where you had to fight all 3, the Major, the Ranger, and the melee at the same time. And let's just say, this is where shit kind of hit the fan.
Oh no. Oh yeah, this is kind of bad. But you know what? Actually, okay, let's do this. Ow. Oh, ow. Oh my god. I died.
Unfortunately, I forgot to switch back to Pray Mage, and I was still praying range, which basically just completely tore through my health. And well, I was devastated, to say the least. I just sat there in silence for a good 2 minutes after that attempt because I was just morally devastated that I didn't even make it to Jad, my first attempt. So I decided I was probably going to need a little bit better armor than this. And my friends actually had extra Blessed D-Hide that they got from clues that they said I could use, and obviously that was going to be a huge upgrade over using just basic red D-Hide. So I went right back to Gemstone Crabs yet again, and I grinded out 70 ranged, which also only took me about a day. So realistically, there was only about a 2-day gap between my first attempt at the Fight Caves and what we're about to get to, my now second attempt at the Fight Caves. And honestly, I was feeling a lot more confident this time around. Going through these waves, it actually felt quite easy for the most part. And I'm gonna be honest, I was stressed at wave 62, to say the least. I got one of the majors safe spotted, so I had some time to mentally prepare for the fight. And it also didn't help that it was like 2:45 in the morning, and I was getting this "you will be logged out in 10 minutes" message. So I didn't really have that much time to mentally prepare for this as much as I would have liked to. So I said F it, and I attempted Jad for the first time ever.
Range. Mage. Fuck. Range. Mage. 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 Range. Range.
So it was clear to me I was going to need a lot more practice. I mean, I'd practiced a bit on some of the Jad simulator websites, but that was really only for the prayer switches. I really needed to actually practice this fight because I didn't even get to the healers in this second attempt. So I wasn't even really sure how to do those yet. So I looked up the best way to do or practice Jad, and apparently you can set it up pretty easily actually on a speedrunning world. And apparently this was the harder version of Jad too, because this was like the Inferno version or something. So if anything was gonna be good practice, it was definitely this. And it took me a few attempts, believe me, but I eventually did get the kill, and I was feeling pretty damn good about myself. So the very next day, I was ready for another attempt at Jad. And let me tell you, this third attempt was looking pretty damn good, because after I got through all 62 waves, which were pretty easy at this point, I was feeling very confident with these waves at this point, I had Jad in the perfect spot. The place that he spawned let me put him in an absolutely perfect safe spot at Italy Rock, which allowed me to do the healers much easier. So I was feeling pretty damn good going into this attempt. Not only that, but I was feeling a lot more confident in my prayer switches, so I was ready to just get this done. And in my mind, this was the attempt. This was going to be it. The setup was too perfect for it not to be the attempt that I get him on. I was destroyed, completely defeated. I truly had no desire to do any more attempts. I was like, you know what? That was the attempt. If there was ever an attempt I was going to do it on, it was going to be that one. It was perfect. The setup was perfect. I got the healers down like nothing. There was no reason for me not to have done it that attempt. And I could barely sleep that entire night. I was just so defeated. It was like, how can I be so bad? You'd think a game as simple as OSRS couldn't do much to mentally destroy you, but believe me, it did a number on me that night. But then I woke up the next day and I said, you know what? Mistakes happen, okay? Because today, we are getting the fire cape. I almost went into this attempt with the expectation this time that I was gonna have more attempts to come. That this was not necessarily gonna be it, but that I was gonna have to do this 5, 6, 7 more times. And once again, I sailed through all 62 waves very easily, and unfortunately, I didn't really get a good spawn location for Jad. So I knew that I was going to have to take care of these healers the old-fashioned way, which I did not have a whole lot of practice doing. But there was one little thing that I was doing different this time. You see, the first 2 times that I did Jad, I was trying to memorize the animations. And while I'd done a pretty darn good job of doing that, I was still running into situations where I was just making a false prayer swap. So I decided this time I was gonna memorize the sounds that he makes, especially the maging sound. So I practiced a bit more on the simulator, this time trying more to pay attention to the sounds than the animations, and my god, let me tell you, that made a massive difference. So I cranked my sound up for this fight, and I started my 3rd attempt at Jad. I think the last gaming feat that ever came that close to the same feeling that getting the fire cape gave me was when I hit level 60 in hardcore WoW. I mean, the rush that gave you is just insane. There was even a dude standing right next to me who congratulated me after I got it. Like, it felt good, man. It's the pressure that gets to you that makes it hard. Not the mechanics, the pressure. And ever since I got the fire cape, the number one thing my friends and other people have been asking me is, what is my next goal? Next goal? You're telling me I didn't beat the game? I mean, yeah, of course I have other goals in mind. My focus on getting fire cape has basically consumed my life for the past better part of a month at this point. I mean, I hadn't thought about what I would do after. I guess I could get back into World of Warcraft. I mean, Mists of Pandaria Classic just came out, right? Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna go back to questing or something.